Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host, Chantele Francis. And in place of Phil today is JoJo. How you doing, JoJo?
I'm great. Thanks for having me back. Really excited. Hope Phil's doing well. Sending Phil all the love.
Yes.
Yes.
All the love. Not Phil Coogan, but our Phil from my co-host for this season of The Amazing Race Canada. He was unable to be here this week because he's having a little bit of a little surgery. He's doing well, doing fine. He's being taken care of by his partner and his dog, Agatha. Nurse Agatha will call him her. But yes, he's probably going to be in the chat. So hopefully we can hear a little bit from him about what his thoughts are about this final episode. I just want to tell you, JoJo, the reason why I forgot our little thing was I have this, I don't know if you noticed, but on StreamYard, you can now mirror your image.
Oh.
So now like everything is correct. So like if I want to look to like my right, I'm looking to my right. You know what I mean? And it looks proper and it's not opposite anymore.
Yeah.
So like I used to do it opposite and I was like, oh no, I have to just do it like properly. I just do it properly. And yeah. So
StreamYard.
But I don't know what it looks like to you because like right now I'm going to my right. That's my right side.
Yeah, it's opposite for me, but that's right for me.
But am I
Opposite.
going to my right for you?
No.
I guess it will look like I'm pointing to my right, but it looks like my left. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Well, guys, that was our own little amazing race detour that we just went on right then. But JoJo, we haven't talked to you all season.
No.
What'd you think of the entire season of The Amazing Race? I know that you are a fan of The Amazing Race in general. I know that you have had aspirations to participate in the show at least a couple of times. So can I have a little synopsis of your overall thoughts?
Yeah, I was really excited for season 8. Obviously, with COVID, we had to wait quite some time. Was a little worried that we weren't going to see a season 8. Didn't see any casting information for it, though. Yes, as stated earlier, I was a little exhausted from the application process, so didn't apply for 7. Clearly, didn't apply for 8. Love the cast this year. Was surprised that I was rooting for as many people as I was. I normally choose 3-4 teams and really give it my all for them. I liked this cast quite a bit. Was really excited to see Tashawn. Was blown away to see Julie Black. Lost my mind. I remember vividly like messaging you right away, being like, "Julie's, she's doing it." And even Catherine and Craig initially, I was huge fans of them. The sisters. There was quite a few teams that I was like, I'm on board for this. Give me a good summer season of television.
Totally with you. And so if you didn't know, JoJo participated with me as co-host for a question and answer of the finale watch party. And so we did do that on Tuesday. That's why this recap is coming a little bit later, is because we watched it live at the bottom line here in Toronto, Ontario. And so we were watching it, but we couldn't really hear it.
No.
And we couldn't really see it.
Keywords. We were finding keywords. We were listening to people around us. We were trying to read subtitles. We were reading like first place, second place, third place, trying to find the narrative, watching Craig, watching Catherine, their reactions.
Exactly.
So trying to take it all in and all the excitement.
So that's why we're coming a little bit late with our recap here. We did get to be in the energy of watching people that were running the final leg together, and then ultimately, spoiler alert, seeing them win this race. So it was really, really awesome that Craig did invite us to come and do a question answer with some other racers. So they were there, of course. So Catherine and Craig. We also had Cassie and Jameek were there. Tashawn and Julie were there a little bit late. They missed the question and answer period. Beverly was there. And Cedric was there. Did I miss anybody?
Vicky from season 17 of The Amazing Race Canada, or sorry, Amazing Race US. Yeah, it was jammed full of some exciting folks.
Yeah, and what I really liked about it is that, you don't realize that you can't always feel the energy of people on like through the screen. Like I remember I liked everybody and I liked Cassie and Jameek, for instance.
Mhm.
And then
Big
in
one.
person, they are so engaging and like wanting to be around them. Like they were larger in life in real life. And it's interesting that yes, they were likable, but it came through so much in
Oh,
person. So
yeah.
that was what was I really found awesome about meeting everybody in person was that their personalities really shone through, and they were all such really lovely, 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 lovely people. I would have loved if everybody from the entire race was at this together. So like we could have met everybody. Like that's the only thing that I'm a little sad about is that we didn't get to meet everyone.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Great
We have
cast.
we have Jericho here. Hi, Jericho. Yes, yes. You called every
Ooh.
final spot. I see that. I feel like that's the way that I could see it going a bit too. Definitely, who has the better story? I mean, what do you think about that? Because in the beginning of the season, I did feel as though Catherine and Craig had a really beautiful story, had a beautiful friendship, and performers and people in the performing arts space tend to do quite well in
Yeah.
these types of, races or activities because they're so well rounded. They're going to be able to balance. They're going to be able to memorize things. They're going to be able to do anything artistic, most likely decently better than the average person. And so I knew that they were well suited to perform
Yeah.
well on the race.
Less inhibitions, used to performing in front of people, a crowd, nerves there, but channeled differently, right? Because you're a performer, I'm a performer. We get that. I'll never forget the constant commercials for Amazing Race Canada and seeing Craig and Catherine doing their lunge at the starting line. And I thought, that's my team. Because they also, like, spoiler alert, my best friend Steph and I, we applied 2 years in a row. She's a ginge, an incredible dancer, incredibly competitive like me. And I kind of saw us in Craig and Catherine in their dynamic. Best friends, know everything about each other, no secrets, great chemistry, and work together well. And I think that translated incredibly well on the screen, and the results showed.
And so I think it was the fourth leg, they won their first leg of the race, and I was like, when they won that, and I was like, okay, they see and they feel what it feels like to be in front, to be leading. I was like, okay, I think that this is who I think they really would love to have be the winner of this race. I think they really encompass all the things that a racer could encompass, like a great story, a beautiful friendship, and doing really well at all the different tasks. And so then they're out for COVID. I was actually floored. I
Yeah.
was like, what?
Well, I initially checked social media immediately. I was like, are they still in? Are they out? I was trying to get hints from Insta stories. There was no elimination interviews. I was like, okay, what's happening? Are they coming back? Clearly filming during the peak of COVID, incredibly difficult, and trying to figure out how to bring people back, how to quarantine certain folks, keep them sequestered, even eliminated teams coming back initially. I love that people got second chances. I believe in second chances. Even if you were eliminated and you came back, would I've been a little eked or erged if they ended up the winners of the race? Potentially, but we saw that in season 1 of Amazing Race Canada. We saw a team come in last twice for the non-eliminations and still went on to win the season.
So this is for me. It's not a slight on Catherine and Craig at all. I think that they are completely worthy winners. I feel as though some of all these games they do have an element of luck. It was unlucky that they were taken out, and lucky that they were brought back in, and they had the right chemistry to be able to win the race. So they are worthy winners, and I'm not trying to take that away from them. But me personally, and I know it's a sign of the times right now. Like it's not how a normal race would have gone, but it just frustrates me that they were gone for a couple of legs where people were racing still, and some of the people that had raced the entire time aren't able to run the final leg. And so that's the only kind of qualm that I have, is that like I wish that everybody that wins kind of had the same racing journey, and
Yep.
they were up against each other in every single leg. And so that's my only kind of qualm about it. They handled it, obviously, the production team, as best as they could. It's a new world that we're living in, new guidelines, new precautions that we have to take, and they did the best that they could. I just personally wish that there was some way to equalize, the teams. Like, couldn't they just have paused production maybe for 10 days or something, just to make it a little bit more fair? Fair.
Fair, for sure. I think COVID fatigue is definitely a thing, so a disadvantage going in for any team that tested positive and then went back onto the race, but also racing fatigue is a thing. So who knows how much rest they actually received and how long they were really. I'm not sure the protocols for how long they would have had to quarantine before getting back into the race. If it was 5, 7 days, 14 days, 10, I'm unsure of the timeline
Well,
there.
it's probably 10 days. And it just reminds me, because I'm watching Amazing Race Australia right
Yeah.
now, and they just had two teams that were out for 7 legs of the race that just came back in. And then now there's 5 teams that are out of the race right now, and they're down to their final 5. And then the next episode I saw, like, one of your favorite teams is going to be going home. And I'm like, I don't want one of my 5, like, these are the teams that are left are all my favorite teams going home, and there's 5 teams that I actually don't care about that haven't raced for 4 legs are going to be just going to come back in and win the race. And so this is just like the similar feeling. It's to a lesser just extent, obviously, with Amazing Race Canada, but like, it just I wish that they all had the same racing experience. I don't want to be comparing some COVID fatigue with somebody that's actually been running the race together, like overcoming things like together, to be compared, because I don't think that they're comparable. I think that they're 2 completely different
Oh yeah.
experiences, both completely valid, but I wish that they had the same racing experience, so if we're judging a race.
Sure.
Right? Like, unless they did, like, the people that got COVID had a separate race that they started running or something. I don't know. But I just wish that it obviously didn't happen. And I wish that it just could have been a completely straightforward, normal season, but it wasn't. But I do think that they did extremely well, Catherine and Craig, for the legs that they ran. And I would assume that they would have done well if they were in the race for the legs that they were out for COVID. I just wish that everybody that ran the final leg ran all the legs together.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I guess I was reading your mind, Jericho, but Jericho was saying, how do you feel about the people being out of one leg due to COVID? Was it one leg? I think it was 2.
I think it was only 1. I think it was only episode 5 or 6 that they missed.
And also, speaking to that as well, the fact that Darrell and Kevin, I believe their names were, like, if that were the case, that they're all going to get the opportunity to come back, why did they have a silly little, it wasn't a speed bump, it
The
wasn't,
ramp, the
it was
ramp
just,
off.
they just had to go and find a golden ticket at a wishing well at a golf course or whatever it was. I was like, I just thought that if it was going to be, they should have just made it a non-elimination and still have their double elimination or triple elimination next week, whatever. I just didn't care for the fact that, okay, so you brought 3 teams back, kind of, and 1 team can't even come back. Like, I also didn't really care for that. So
Yeah, it was all
was it
It was
justice for
all a
John Kevin?
mess. No, I think it was Daryl, or yeah, I don't remember their names. But for
Sturrell
season 9,
and
sure. Come on back, boys.
oh, they did good. They deserve this win. Yes, absolutely. I do think they deserve the win. When you're out, you're out. I was surprised they let they come back. I know, and it could be because, like, they knew that they were doing so well in this race. And so I'm sure the producers, like, were devastated as well when they were taken out due to COVID. And so I think that the producers wanted to give all the people taken out a second chance. I think, yeah, I don't know. It seems like that's like it's, if you're out from COVID so far, it seems like it doesn't take you out of the Amazing Race. It's just you quarantine and you come back in. It seems what the protocol is so
Yeah.
far. So let's talk about this finale episode. So how did you feel about 4 teams running to the finish line?
I love the idea of having 4 teams run to the finish line. Would I have preferred a 2-hour episode? Yes.
Would you though?
For 4 teams, I think so. But
I did feel incomplete about.
That's what I was going to say. I didn't feel like I lost out. I didn't feel like it was jam-packed to the point where I was like, I'm lost, I'm confused, who's where, what's happening. There was obviously the tricky edits, not knowing when someone's in first or second in the finale. So you're kind of questioning the final placements, but we knew once we get there, we'll get there. We'll chat about it.
Yeah, I didn't really feel as though we needed it to be any longer, like unless there was more tasks, because I feel like everybody kind of got a full story.
Mm-hmm.
I could map out everybody's finale journey pretty easily, and I don't feel like there's any real holes. So I personally don't think it needed to be longer. And it didn't really bother me. I didn't care either way, whether there's 4 or 3 people. I did like the fact that Fernella was able to be in the finale, because I think I would have been more upset if they weren't.
Yeah.
Because
you know me, I'm not the biggest fan of male teams winning the race back to back to back to back. In Canada, we've had, I think Catherine's the 4th female to win the race in 8 seasons. That's 16 players. So I was happy that the sisters got to compete in the finale. No shade to Brendan and Connor, but I wasn't rooting for them too hard.
Yeah, I mean, they were doing really well all season.
They were. I was worried.
I didn't think that they had the story being told for the season, personally, within the edit. Well, that was my next question. Do you like the boys' mustache?
I did. Yeah, 100%.
They looked cuter. Not gonna lie.
I think they're cute regardless, but the mustache was.
Well, I'm just saying, like, they were cute. Like, I was like, ooh, okay, hey. I still can't tell them apart, which is interesting, because like I'm usually good with twins, but I'm not with those two. I'm like, I don't. Brendan has the longer hair, right?
Aren't they just brothers?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm usually good with twins, so I don't know why can't tell the brothers apart.
Yeah, I can't.
The older one is the long. Is the older one have the longer hair? Or no.
Yes, I think that's Connor.
Oh, I thought the longer hair was Brendan. I believe so.
Whoops. Sorry, boy. Someone correct us, please. Help chat.
So we have the boys leaving in first place at 5:06 a.m. What was the last task that they did? Where were they coming from?
Toronto.
What was the last task that they did?
Oh, when they're flying to Richmond. What was the last task?
Vancouver. I'm just wondering, how did they get there in first?
Well, everyone flew the same time.
But they're leaving at 5:06 a.m. in first place, so they had to have gotten to the mat in first place. What was the last?
Yeah.
What did Beverly and Veronica not do, or like not finish well?
What didn't they finish?
I don't have it in this book because it's a new book. So you watched it recently.
I know, and I cannot for the life of me remember. Not for the single life.
Okay. Anyways,
next.
So Catherine and Craig are leaving at 6:02. So there was an hour between them, which is what I wanted to understand why the boys did so much better. And so they do talk in there, kind of like all the teams are having their moment before they're running the final leg to talk about the fact that why they're good teammates and why they're going to be doing well on this race. And so Catherine and Craig talk about how they know themselves better than the siblings. And I thought it was also interesting that the 3 other teams were all siblings and they were the only non-sibling team running together. So that was interesting. And they know each other probably better than anybody else, which I thought was also pretty funny.
Siblings keep secrets.
You do? They do?
Oh yeah, definitely.
More than best friends?
Definitely.
You think You think that Catherine and Craig don't keep good secrets?
No, I think they can keep a secret together, but I don't think they keep secrets from each other. I think siblings don't necessarily want to divulge everything about their lives to one another.
Oh, you're saying keep secrets from each other, not
From
hold secrets,
yes,
not be a vault of
yes,
secrets. Okay,
yes.
misunderstood. So 6:04 a.m. is going to be Jesse and Marika leaving, and they're wearing their orange shirts in support of residential schooling. And so I do also like that they were continuously bringing in their heritage, but
Mm.
not in a way that seems like, you know, shoving anything down your throat and like you got to look at this. And I thought it was a really nice way that they were always kind of like bringing back to their father and, you know, their background. And we don't get a lot of Indigenous representation on our shows, and so I do appreciate when we do. And so,
Me
and I
too.
thought that they were a really good representation this season.
Yeah, strong contenders for the win for me. I thought going into the finale, I did think Craig and Catherine were going to win, but they were a strong team, and all that matters at the end is that you're first place. Last leg, first place, all that matters.
And unfortunately, like Marika, if you do end up watching this, Marika, Jesse, all the teams, we love you, but like I'm just critiquing the player that we're watching on the screen.
Jesse,
I do
Jesse.
feel slightly that her kind of not negative, but like always looked maybe on the downside of situations, may have prevented them from prevailing, because it seemed as though Jesse was always trying to make her look on the bright side of things and being like, no, 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 we're still in this. We could be, we don't necessarily be last. And it seemed as though Marika was kind of always ready to go down into like a little bit of a negative spiral and being like, relax, like we can't do the like, and she's like, no, no, but it's still possible. We don't know what's going to happen. And
Mhm.
it was always kind of a back and forth that way. And I'm wondering if she had a little sprinkle more of like the Jesse
Positivity. Yeah.
optimism, that if they could have maybe prevailed.
Well, you and I both believe in manifestation, and I think you put out what you're putting out there is what you're getting back, especially in the final leg. Um, but racing exhaustion, like you sometimes people just can't help it. And I'm assuming that was the case for her, where she just couldn't help but be in the state that she was in and do the
But
best she
But
could.
that's what I'm saying, is that I feel as if she was capable of getting out of that state
Mhm.
more quickly. I think less energy would have been expelled, spiraling downward, and more energy could have been put towards finding an optimistic or another route or the silver lining or
Yeah.
the answer, you know what I mean, as opposed to being like, oh no, we got they already got the answer, we're not going to get it. No, like you said,
Keep
take
going.
that breath, center yourself,
Yep.
like know that it is possible for you to get this answer right now and win this race, get the answer and go. So yes, Jonathan's here. Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, Jonathan.
Jonathan says the brothers did that military course.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jonathan. And that's what Beverly and Veronica, they couldn't remember those 7 values. And it was Veronica seemingly's fault, because she kind of messed up a couple of times with remembering them. And yes, sorry, what?
I'm just trying to remember what they were.
Oh, we tried to remember
Honesty,
integrity. Starts with an
experience,
R.
resilience,
I don't think it was resilience. It was
responsibility.
responsibility. The last 3, we could never remember the last 3, and I tried looking it up online with Phil, and it doesn't have the same ones that they
Yeah.
used there. But so the brothers did that military course after the face-off of the pool-off, which got them in first
Right.
place for leg 10. Jonathan
Coming
is
through.
on it. Thank you very kindly. Of course I should remember that, the damn 7 whatchamacallit values. So what was I talking about? Oh yeah, and then so 617 now was leaving, was Frenella, and so we do see. I thought they looked gorgeous, the two of them. I mean, not that they were beautiful on their own, but like when they're dressed up with their mom in the photo and they're talking about they're raised by a single mom and they really want to win this race for them, I thought they looked so stunning, all glammed up. I was like, oh, I would have loved to see them at the finale all like glammed up.
Ooh, yeah, I think the sisters were really easy to root for. I was a huge fan.
I was a huge fan, and then I dipped off a little bit when they were being mean to Catherine and Craig, actually, which is fine. Like, I don't necessarily want teams to be working together. I just thought that how that they did it is like, oh, like you could just say like, hey, we just want to work, like do our own race right now. Like, we love you. Like, I just the how that they did it, I felt it was a little bit mean.
Yeah, we talked about this in real life, but I will say I was okay with it because I think some mind games near the end is not the worst. It's like, let's upset them a little bit. Let's try and knock them off their course or kilter them a little bit.
I don't mind them saying it, doing it, but it was just that the how they did it.
I got it.
I just it wasn't the version of them that I had been enjoying. I was kind of like, I don't know. You could say it differently or something.
Yeah,
You could still be.
fair.
I don't know. It's just rubbed me a little bit the wrong way. But I still was rooting for them the whole way, and I wanted them to run the finale. Wasn't it a diving and calling out the numbers? That was that same leg, but I don't think that was the last task. I believe the last task was the military one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they called out the numbers and Fernella was last. And Beverly, they left before them. Maybe it was the last task, actually. Jericho.
Jonathan, help.
Jericho, wait. Now you're making me second guess the second guess. So they left that. Didn't they go to the pool hall after that? And then that's where the face-off was?
Yeah.
And then after the face-off, they went to the military base. So it's same episode, earlier task, I think.
Wish I had my notebook that I made all season long with me. Kidding, didn't make one.
Literally watched this so long ago.
Yeah.
And watched so much Amazing Race since. Literally watched like hours of Amazing Race since I last saw that episode. So sorry if my memory is a little bit fuzzy. So they are going to be flying obviously into Vancouver. Once they're in Vancouver, they're going to be going to Cardero Park. And so I've lived in Vancouver, and what was really interesting when they get to the clue box on like at Cardero Park, it was right in front of a place where I used to work. So the clue box would say right here, and we're facing this way. And I believe Cardero's is a restaurant that was right there. And then behind, which we couldn't see, was a restaurant called Lift that I used to work at. So I was like, I know where they are for sure. Like I used to walk that way all the time. And where they got their taxi is where I always got my taxi to drop me off when I was going to work, because you actually couldn't drive all the way up to where I was. They had to like park by the hotel. So I just felt right at home there.
I wonder if they could try and grab someone's Uber. Be like, listen, can we use your app?
I don't think it would actually work, because even if you were in somebody's Uber, doesn't mean that they'd match you with that person.
Oh, that's fair too.
I've done that before. Been like, can we try to take you? And then like somebody else from like down the street accepts the ride.
Fair.
So Jesse and Marika, they are decided to go on foot to try to find. They're looking for this the heli lift-off space, and I was like, it actually is quite close where they're going, but it was worrisome if you don't know where you're going to be running on foot, especially in that area, because getting down to those type of parts can be a little bit trickier, challenging. You just might hit a wall and you're like, okay, I'm at a wall. I can't just go around here. No, you can't sometimes. And so I thought it would have been better for them to either get directions from somebody on foot, like right away, or get back into that taxi and get them to take you to where they know that you can walk on to a heliport.
Yeah, I don't think I'm running anywhere unless I know where I'm going. So grabbing someone on their phone right away, mapping it out. Can you press the drive button and the walk button?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Drive and walk button. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can do that.
So the roadblock was called Who Should Just Drop It? So would that be me or you?
Ooh, We're in the finale. We're pretty much evenly matched for. I think I would drop it.
Okay,
I'm okay.
good.
I'm okay with heights.
I'm fine with heights too, but if you want to drop it, you drop. Yeah, this would actually probably work out better. So yes, they're gonna have to go to the helicopter, and it seemed like Catherine and Craig should have gotten there first, but maybe that's where I didn't see how they got lost, but they kind of got lost, and then we know that Jesse and Marika were on foot getting lost as well. So Nella and Connor were at the helicopter first.
Yes.
And so they're going to be taken up in a helicopter and they're going to have to jump off. Oh, I was meaning to show you that I too have been in a helicopter in
Ooh,
Vancouver. So hold on, let me see
okay.
if I can find you this really quick. So Whistler is very close to Vancouver, where all the mountains are. That's where all the skiing is happening in just outside of Vancouver. And so I was doing a retreat out there. And my friend's boyfriend was a helicopter driver. So he gave us a drive. He picked us up and we flew over to Vancouver. Well, we flew
Cute.
around it. No, so we flew around and he dropped us back down in our car. And then he flew his girlfriend, my friend, back home. But I definitely got to try a helicopter. Have you been in a helicopter before?
I have not. No, now that I think about it. But True Lies is one of my favorite movies, and I just pictured Jamie Lee Curtis hanging from a helicopter every time I think of a helicopter. So
Okay,
I would have attempted that. Actually, I would have just jumped and gotten it over with.
where is it? It's really, these pictures are really beautiful. If I could ever find them, I'm like, what year did I do that?
Oh, are you
Oh,
checking a Facebook album? Good luck.
no, I'm actually checking my pictures,
Oh,
actual pictures, photos. What year did I do that? Maybe 2015, 2016? Was I still living there? I don't even know. It was so long ago. So okay, I'll keep flipping through.
keep
Hopefully, I can
flipping.
find it. Um, One thing I found that was interesting about helicopters is that you actually feel like you kind of dip sometimes. And
Sure.
like I remember being in the helicopter and being like, I wouldn't be surprised if I died right now because like you just
The
lose like
pockets of air. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like you're just like you just feel like you could just lose it completely and just like go into the mountain. And like we're right beside these huge mountains in British Columbia. Um, it was, I mean, I would do it again, but I could see why people could be scared of it because
Sure.
you don't necessarily feel secure. It's cool. The view is gorgeous, but I can see how people could be scared of it.
Sure.
But I would jump. I would do it. I wouldn't be too bad. So what happens next? So Jesse and Marika do actually finally end up getting there. Poor things are out of breath, and I may be just a little bit discouraged with making that decision of running it and then being panting out of breath and then seeing another team ahead of you when you got to the clue block first.
Yeah.
So I could understand why she might be going a little bit downward spiral here, but I think the key to the amazing race is brushing it off,
Yeah.
waters up a duck's back, on to the next. Like, don't let the last leg define you. Learn from it and move forward. Like, you always have to be learning from it and moving forward. And I think that would be my biggest takeaway, like, or what I've learned about racing would be always be looking forward and doing better and silver lining.
Yeah.
Silver lining. Jericho says they need to go to Vancouver twice per season. It's so beautiful. It is really pretty. It's really nice. Search helicopter in your phone. Oh yeah. You're right. I don't know if you can actually see the helicopter. Oh, you know what? I got there anyways without. Am I here? Shit. No, I'm not.
Oh,
You're right though. But I don't know if you could see the helicopter in my. Oh yeah, we did. I did one. Okay, smarty pants. But it doesn't have the ones that I want to show. It only has the actual photo of a helicopter. Because like I got to have like the headset and everything.
the Britney Spears headset.
Maybe headset. Would that show?
Maybe.
Okay, it was a great idea, but it's or maybe mountain. Mountain did it. Okay.
Scroll, 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 scroll.
I was pretty close though with my scroll. I had like a nice video of me in the mountain, but okay, you can kind of see how like this is how taken from a helicopter.
Stunning.
That's how close I was to the
Oh,
mountains.
just a casual day trip up to the mountains. Beauty. Look at that. Look at that view. Look at Canada being absolutely stunning.
I mean, it's quite gorgeous. Okay,
I will say though, I will always prefer the East Coast to the West Coast. Sorry, West Coasters.
but
Sorry,
like
Jericho. I get it's beautiful, but bring me to Nova Scotia. Bring me to
you,
New Brunswick. Bring me to Newfoundland.
you are
Please.
definitely going to be biased. You're from there.
I know. Can't help it. Oh yeah, look at you, nice and cozy too. Your little toque.
Let's see if I have a good video. Oh, video's gonna not load. But yeah, that's me in there.
I love it.
Lots of videos. It was really cool.
Thank
you for the reminder, Jericho. But mountain worked. Mountain worked. So Catherine and Craig, where am I at? First team is already gone. So Nella and Connor, they do the jump and they're off. And then round 2 teams are going to be doing this jump as well. Do you think we'd be in the front or the back at this one? Would we have made a mistake?
Oh, and the fact that you lived in Vancouver, absolutely not. We'd be fine.
Well, no matter what, though, I have I love asking for directions.
Oh yeah.
So I will be like, we're asking for directions. Like even me being there, I would be like, let's ask for directions. Like I might just mess up. Like I don't want to. Like I know it's going to be that way, but like I might forgot that, or maybe there's something new that was built there.
Exactly. P.S. There's construction 2 blocks away that you can't see.
Exactly.
A local should know that.
So we learned though that the next task, the next roadblock for the other racer, which would be me, would be who should just roll
with it.
I put with up. Who just roll with it. And they're going to be doing a little bit of a roller skating obstacle course. And I don't know how I'd roller skate now, but I've roller skated in less than like maybe 10 years ago. I've roller skated.
So not 20.
Not 20. And so I used to work at American Apparel in Montreal. And it was the first American Apparel that was ever open. And part of like the gimmick promo is like, you know how they always had those like 70s shorts or whatever. So I'd wear like the tank top and the short shorts and the knee-high socks, and I had ponytails, and I'd just like be rolling up and down the street, roller skating. Perfect. To like promote the store and give out like flyers and be like, it's discounts, like here's a flyer, American Apparel. And so I got pretty well versed on the skates. And so, yeah, I think I'd be okay. I've never got to go under anything with them before.
You can do it like a deep plie though. You'd be okay.
I think I'd be okay. But I think that this would be a good way to do this.
Yeah.
Because you might be a stronger swimmer, and then I would be decent at the roller skate. Even though I think you'd probably be good at the roller skate.
I think I'd be okay with both. I'd be happy. But the swimming, I'd want to get it done. I'd be okay with the jump, the adrenaline. Like, yeah, I'm ready.
So I said it was so scary, though, to have to go under the pools, though. One of them was really low. Scary.
How low can you go?
So scary. I mean, I think the way I'm picturing it though is when Craig gets to that task. So yeah, Brandon is going to be doing this. He used to be a figure skater, and so he's pretty good at it. And Franca, not so good, but she was able to kind of get through it. But when Craig gets there, Craig, like, he's been on skates before, but he has a lot of power. Ooh. And then he was just like a powerful Bambi. Like it was kind of scary.
Yeah, he was a stud on skates.
Yeah, a stud on skates, for sure. Just like plowing through it, and it was like, but he did it. He got through. So it was all pretty impressive. I was really happy that everybody was able to get through that one.
It was also a fun. I love a fun leg, right? Where people can have a good time at the same time, and you could tell that everyone was, for the most part, having a good time.
They were, and it was something that was a pretty good equalizer. Not everybody is going to be like a professional roller skater. I know it's kind of making a resurgence, and I've been wanting to do a roller skating birthday party where everybody dresses up like the 70s and like, but I can't even find a roller rink in the
There's
winter, anyways.
yeah, none in Toronto. Let's be real.
Why? They should. Is that what I want to open? Do I want to open a roller skating rink
We
and like have like Sunday night like sexy skating?
Ooh, but I mean, how many bowling alleys do we have? Maybe one, maybe two. There's one
Downtown, I can
down.
only think of one, but
There's one on John Street, and that's about it.
I mean, I know where bowling alleys are outside of Toronto, but or like outside of downtown, but because I used to have bowling parties growing up, didn't you?
Yes, on the East Coast where there's lots of bowling alleys.
Well, there are lots of bowling alleys, but they're not
Yeah.
downtown. But then maybe we should make a like a really cool roller rink downtown and like have like amazing DJs and like it's just
Ooh,
like be like skating nights and like theme nights and just
yeah.
like I think that that could be a hit.
Yeah, we'll all just pass each other our different feet fungus in those rollerblades.
Bring your own skates.
We could, yeah, I guess you could if there's a market for it, but it's the retro feel, right? It's the four wheels,
Yeah, I don't
four
want.
wheels,
Yeah, they have four wheels and a
four wheels,
stopper.
yeah. Wheel sound.
I mean, I was considering already to buying a pair of roller skates because down in Toronto by the like by Lakeshore, they have like underneath the highway, there's like a whole roller
Yes.
skating like lane. And so I was like, that's cool, but it's only cool in like the summer. Let's have it like we need an arena, a rink. We need a roller rink.
Yeah,
So
Canary Park has that underpass too that has like skateboarding, rollerblading, fun. And I think that's where Julie and Kathy filmed their promo for Amazing Race Canada.
oh, well, look at you. I spy with my little eye. So they're going to be running to their next task where it's all the world's a stage. And they are going to be learning a little piece of Verdi's opera, La Traviata. Do you know this opera?
I do. I recognize the song, obviously. And I think as soon as I heard All the World's the Stage, I felt immediately good for Craig and Catherine. I'm like, this is
Mhm.
it. This is where you pull ahead. Get it done. Peace out. Don't look back. Done. Forward, forward, forward. So I felt as soon as we saw it, I'm like, oh my God, it's happening. Here it is.
So so Jonathan was talking to me about this and he felt as though it wasn't necessarily fair that somebody had such a in the final leg had such an advantage. Now, obviously when they built the leg, they did not know who was going to be in the finale or who was going to be participating in this particular challenge. What do you think about it being so well suited to one team specifically?
I'm fine with it. I think some people are great with their hands, some people are great dancers, some people are great singers, some people there's many challenges that might have been great for one team and not for another. And that's just the luck of the draw when it comes down to it. It's all, and like you mentioned earlier, a lot of it's luck.
And what about on top of that, he wasn't too plussed about with the sign language challenge that there was two teams that were able to sign. He didn't it didn't sit well with him. So what do you think about that?
I mean, it's the same as, if someone can speak English and French and they're a competitor in the race, is it disadvantage disadvantageous?
Advantageous?
Thank you. Excuse me. Let me get back in here. Yeah, that can be a huge bonus for one team, but do I think of it as being unfair? No.
So Jonathan was kind of suggesting that knowing the strengths and the weaknesses of the team to maybe to make it more balanced and more fair. Um
I'm just not too concerned about it being fair when it comes down to it.
Personally, because both of these would they'd advantage me. I'd be like, sorry, man.
Ooh.
I know sign language. You can't not have this leg because I know sign language and other people don't.
Yep.
Why don't they know sign language or at least the alphabet? And then for this, like, I'm not an opera singer, but I can sing and I can remember tune and I can read music and learn words.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have had much trouble with this one as well. So for me, I'm like, I'm fine with it. Like, if it just so happens that something that I learned and studied in my lifetime comes up in this race that I'm able to execute my skills, like, luck's on to me.
Yeah, this is also season 8 of this television show. So if you haven't watched the previous seasons and haven't learned from past seasons that you need your notebook, you need to know what happened every leg. During our little interview after the finale, we did learn that Catherine had her book with her from the flight to Vancouver, was studying the entire time, and that is the way to be prepared, especially for the final leg. All bets are off. You need to be prepped, ready to go. And they were. We don't necessarily know if the other teams, I'm sure they were, but we were aware that Catherine and Craig were studied and ready for that final roadblock.
And also, just like touching on the Amazing Race US that just started this week, I watched a video with Craig, sorry, Craig on the brain, with Claire and Derek X, and they're talking about how they prepared for the race, which is something that I feel that I would have done as well. Derek X, when he was on the challenge, he was getting some of the crew that spoke Spanish to be teaching him sentences and phrases. And then also, when he got off the show, he went to Clara's parents' house and they like took them blindfolded, drove them and dropped them off in the middle of a nowhere and gave them a map and made them try to figure out how to get back to where they were. They got a rental car and got them to how to learn how to drive standard. And so they kind of went through a boot camp on like, what kind of skills might we need to know to do well in this race? And so, not that learning sign language is a skill that you potentially would learn to go on a race, but maybe now you should.
Yeah.
So I don't think that people having skills that other people don't have should be disadvantageous. Yeah, you're right. It's a weird word. Because you've worked on something that somebody else hasn't. So
Yeah.
yes, I'm in agreement with you here. This was a little bit hard though because it was operatic, so it was such a high note. But would you have sang high, or would you have gone down the
Oh,
octave? Were you a
well,
tenor? What
I
would
am
you
a
have done?
I am definitely a high tenor. But it's all about vowels, right? At the end of the day. So it's mouth shape, finding that and being and it's to my ear, I recognize it. So right away, I do feel like I would have been pretty stellar with this number.
I would have dropped an octave, I
Yeah,
think.
you're an alto girl.
I'm an alto. Alto for life. I've always wanted to be a soprano. And like one time, actually, I think I've told you this story before, but with my favorite song from choir, Cape Breton Lullaby,
Yes.
the altos get to sing the melody just once.
Yeah.
One verse, we sing the melody. And I was always so proud that I finally, they don't just have to sing harmony in thirds. I get to sing the melody here.
But I do think singing alto is such a challenge, but it's so beautiful and it does help you learn how to harmonize. Your ear gets stronger. For sopranos, yeah, it's the melody, it's the star of the music, but there's something about an alto line that is sometimes creepy. It's very interesting. It's more challenging, and I think when it comes down to it, altos can kick everyone's butt. Yes, tenor lines can be difficult too, but they also can match up a soprano much easier.
They can. I mean, I
Yeah.
agree with you. I love alto because I do love a good harmony. I love a good dissonance into resolution.
Mhm.
Like, and that's always us, we're always like, "Duh," and like, we finish it off. So yeah. Thank you for giving some props to the alto.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely would have had to drop down the octave there because that was way too high. I mean, maybe I could sing it in like a head voice. um, yeah, I could maybe have tried it, but I would have been more comfortable learning it in an octave lower. So what I thought was cute though, at the beginning of this leg, we see Franca and Nella with their taxi driver Gurmail. And so after they do the helicopter challenge, they're like, where is Gurmail? They can't find him. He must have had to move or whatnot. And so they did have his number. They borrowed somebody from like a restaurant's phone and they like call Gurmail and they finally get him. And I was like, but I thought it was really cute. And that was also the episode title for the finale. So Marika was good at roller skating. She's quite impressive. Like she didn't seem to stress out, even though she hated that she was the last one there. She was still really good on the roller skates.
Mm-hmm.
And Catherine and Craig, like they're performers. We know that it seems like Catherine's a soprano. Oof. He's a tenor. Like they pretty much sang it like they were part of the opera group.
Yeah.
Like
they actually went on that. They went on that night.
Exactly. Like they kept the dress and they're performing.
Someone in the cast had COVID. They would call them immediately. They're like, Catherine Craig, we know you just won the race, but if you could come and perform for us tonight, that would be great.
Exactly. Are you the understudy? Like they're probably like the understudy is probably like, oh, am I fired? I love that they get to dress up though, and I think that would have been a really fun part, us going out there and like I've never done any opera before, but to like doing all the I'm like acting all opera. That'd be fun.
And it was cute that Craig was like, oh, Fenella, you should look beautiful. Like he let them know that they look beautiful in their gowns that they chose. Give them a little bit of confidence boost while they're kicking their butts.
Yeah, because then like poor Fenella's like, oh, they're good. They're really good. They're really good. It's like, yeah, they were excellent. So once they did it, they were pretty much in and out. And they probably also are familiar with this opera. Like I don't know it fully, but I definitely recognize the song. And so it would just be a case of learning the words, and learning words with songs I find in another language I find is a little bit easier than sometimes words. So they were out of there and they're going to be on their way to the Richmond night market. You've been to BC, but never been to Vancouver?
Never. Yeah, I've been to Vancouver for a day trip from Kelowna. But I've never been to that market.
I've been to the market. Of course I have. I used to work there kind of. So I worked for a promo company called Cinco, and one of our clients was Ford. And so we used to do these Ford activations at the night market. And so part of it, like you do like a little test drive, and then another part, like I was always like the director, and we'd make them do like these mini movies, whatever, that were like based on like the car and like dress up and stuff like that, and like film these Ford videos. And then at one year we did have an element, was kind of Amazing Race, where people had to like run around and take pictures at different vendors and do different things to like for the activation. So I've been for many a time at the Richmond night market. It's huge, lots of food, lots of vendors, lots of chaos. I like the energy of this finale.
Yeah.
I did find some legs of this season was a little bit slower in my opinion, but this finale, I think it was fast paced, and it could be because there was 4 teams that we had to bounce around between. Maybe that's why it felt full, but I thought that the night market looked really great and fun and colorful and chaotic, and it was great.
Mm-hmm. I love when they race in the night. I do.
Night racing's pretty good. So they're going to have to get 10 food orders and deliver it to their picnic table of guests. What I thought was interesting is that there's these long lineups. They can't really bud these lines. And so they kind of had to like judge, okay, I'm going to wait at this one, put the order in, come back in 20 minutes at this one. Like they could really choose to figure out how to do it. But they were just doing it, Craig and Catherine, just pretty systematically. So they're just going to one stand, then to the next. But then when Franca and Nella came, they were really utilizing their time so well that they were able to overtake Catherine and Craig by putting in their order and going to somewhere else and putting in their order and marking down when they needed to go back to each vendor so they could maximize their time and not just be waiting in line. So I was impressed by that.
Me too. Good
smart.
Yeah,
that was really smart.
Using your brain.
Don't know if I'd do it in the moment, but now I will. if I'm
Yeah.
in that
I
situation.
mean, I also think you get like desperate times call for desperate measures, and they weren't necessarily sure if they were first or second at that moment. So it was like the pressure was on, and I felt that from them.
Yeah, so definitely good strategy, Franca and Nella. I will be using that for something, I'm sure, in a future race that I'm on. The boys do get out of the opera challenge in third place, and Jesse and Marika. Marika's sad again, obviously, because they're going and leaving in last. But they both triumphed, both those teams, considering the boys may be tone deaf, maybe, which would make it very challenging to get this down.
Yeah.
So good on them for keeping on trying and still having a positive attitude. Jesse and Marika, they were saying that they weren't a musical family, but they actually can hold a note. So I'm happy that they got through it, and everybody is going to be at the night market together, which gave Marika some hope, which was
Yes.
great. So she was feeling optimistic now that she's seeing there's other teams here. We're not completely out of it. Like, okay, just keep that energy.
Yes.
We want you to win. We want you to do well. Come on, go, go, go. So a young boy who was so cute gave Franca and Nella the clue once they finished their 10th order or delivery. And they are first place, but I guess they got their taxi to go into the night market. And so getting out of the night market was a bit of a challenge. Catherine and Craig were right on their heels, but they had parked their taxi outside of the night market. So they were able to avoid a lot of that traffic. And so they get on the highway and they actually are seeing that they are a little bit in front of Franca and Nella, which I thought was like, that was also really like stressful. Imagine being like final leg and like thinking that you're in second, then you're in first and second, and it's nighttime, you're passing people, like
Exciting though.
So they're going to Vancouver Public Library, place I've been to many a times. It was down the street from one of the houses that I lived at downtown. And so they're going to be basically doing some riddles. So riddles from the race. And they had to put these riddles in the correct order from when they did them within the race in each city.
Yeah, chronological order. I think these challenges at the end look really difficult. They probably are, but everyone right off the gate was crushing it. So I'm glad people were studying. I'm glad people took notes. The racers want to win. So why wouldn't you be the best prepared that you can be?
Well, I mean, if you're not, then what? This is. Do you even want to win? So basically, they all end up getting to the library, and they're all on different floors. Now, this is maybe a flaw that at one point, I believe Jesse could hear. Maybe it was Catherine, and Marika's like, "No, we got to concentrate on our own race. Like, don't listen to anybody else." But I might be distracted if I could hear another team right above me. So they have like soundproof rooms there. Like, I don't know why they needed to be maybe visually, but I don't know. I don't know if I would have liked to be able to hear the other teams like that.
I don't know if I would have minded. Like maybe I would have said, "Hey, why don't you go listen for 5 minutes while I do this? I'll start it off. You give it a little listen. Tell me what you hear."
No, I think that would just confuse me.
Yeah.
Because like they wouldn't be on the same thing, or I think it would, personally for me, I think it would be a waste of my time if I'm listening to what they're doing to see if it matched up with what I was doing.
Yeah, or you just get louder together, start chatting so that it's not hearing everybody. That's my
point. I don't want to be doing extraneous things about what's going on with the other racers, but I want to just focus on getting those riddles down. And so I mean, maybe that's their point. They want it to be distracting. But I would have been irritated if I was in the race and be like, "Oh, I don't want to hear them." Like, okay, I need to concentrate. Like, I don't want to hear what they're saying. So that's how I think I would probably have reacted. But they all seem to get stuck on this stamp question. And so in the riddle, I should have written the riddle down. I don't know why I didn't, but it talks about licking something and something with their eyes on the case.
Yes.
And a lot of them really thought when they're talking about the case, it
The
was
mystery.
the mystery that they were solving with the chef who done it, the murder mystery. And every single team made this same mistake. And what I found was interesting is that it took so long for everybody to recognize that lick, licky, 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 licky was the key word here. People were not focusing on lick, they're focusing on case. And I'm sure that that's what the producers were expecting, or the game designers were expecting, that people would be tripped up on this. But I was surprised that lick didn't stand out. Because I'd be like, what was the stamps? Like, what would be the clue for the stamps? Oh, lick. Like, I would probably be looking for the stamp clue more than I was looking for the case clue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the second clue was to make them think that it would have been the first clue.
That's another thing that I was upset with. I would have liked to see all the clues.
Yeah.
I would like to know what they are like. Even if like John told, I mean, it would be kind of boring to tell us like how many clues were there, 16. I mean, like reading them all out, but maybe as you look at them, like it just comes up on the screen, and like, you know what I mean? Like just do that for all of them.
Yeah, give me a little corner of what the clue
see
says.
what the clue says. So yeah, I would have liked to played along a little bit and just hear the riddles. I didn't when we were watching it in the bar. It definitely didn't translate at a distance. It was just like white squares and with some text on it that you can barely see. So I wish that they had maybe improved the visibility on that in some way or whatever. I don't know how, but it didn't translate for me when we were watching it in the bar. And even at home, I wanted to play along and I couldn't. Couldn't. But Catherine and Craig do finally figure it out. They get their check and they are correct. And they are leaving in first place, heading to the pit stop, which is at BCE Place. Is it BCE Place or BC Place? Anyways, big stadium, big stadium, which is pretty close to where the Vancouver Public Library is. And so they are going, I don't know if they made a run for it, if they took a taxi. Do you remember?
They ran.
It's pretty close. So running would make sense. And they run inside it. And I still get goosebumps, like, because that feeling of seeing like John, all your former competitors cheering you on as you come into this huge stadium and you run there with your best friend after, crazy journey that you've experienced together. They do land on the mat in first place, and they have won those two Chevy
Silverado,
and ZRV, I can't remember, and $250,000 tax-free Canadian dollars. Congratulations.
And a trip of lifetime from Guru.
Oh, right. Exactly. Guru trip of a lifetime, which is extremely fabulous. So they did it. And we do get to hear from them and how proud of them they are of each other, that they did do it. They put their mind to it and they were able to overcome. And one thing that that I took away from when we were talking to them in person is that Craig was like, the one thing that I just kept on thinking though is how badly he felt for the other teams that were in the finale that wanted it just as badly as they did. And I was like, that's really sweet. You know what I mean? That like he just won, and then he's still like trying to comfort and feeling bad for the other teams that he was competing against. So I thought it was sweet.
So Canadian of us to worry about.
Very Canadian-y. Yeah.
Like,
so
I just, I have to say, I was floored that they won. Kind of had a feeling, like we went in going, okay, maybe they're the winners tonight. Catherine looked incredible in her finale dress. I was like, that's a winner if I've seen one. Like, let's see what happens here. But I was really happy with the results.
Definitely really happy with the results, even though seemingly shortly after, Jesse and Marika, they do solve the riddle and they make their way to the stadium in second place, unfortunately. Franca and Nella, third place. The boys, the brothers, in fourth place. But the winners are Catherine and Craig. Ooh. Dun, da, da, da.
And thinking of it now, I guess Craig is the 7th queer person to win Amazing Race Canada. That's pretty impressive.
7th. So
7th. We've had 3 queer teams win Amazing Race Canada. Season
interesting.
4, season 5, and season 7. And now season 8.
Oh, okay. I was thinking that is every single season, but you're thinking that sometimes both partners are
Yeah, three teams were queer, and Craig is as well.
a mixed team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's also pretty impressive for Canada and its diversity. That is nice to hear and see that we offer opportunity that can happen. So that's
Yeah.
really great. Um, so anything that happened at the question and answers, what do we call it? Ceremony, watch party,
Watch party, yeah.
that you want to share with the peoples?
Oh, what do I want to share? Obviously, the cast members in attendance were all beautifully presented to us, or beautiful. They were beautiful people. They were all lovely inside and out. Brandon, Craig's husband, incredible. We got some great reality tea from this man, some behind the scenes knowledge. It was a great night. It was so much fun.
So what I really liked about it is that we got to see why they were all cast, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
They're all just, I mentioned before, just larger than life. Cedric, hilarious. I love anybody that is really open to taking the mic. I'm not a shy person, and so like everybody, like we were saying, making a question and we're passing the mic down, and everyone's just like kind of grabbing the mic. Oh, I got a story. Oh, I got a story. Oh, I got a story. Like I like when I don't have to always be the one that's keeping the energy and the story and the conversation like going. I love that they all knew their role, like knew how to share and tell a story and be engaging and entertaining. And so that for me, I was just sitting over there, just like watching them and seeing them like just explain their story or whatever, answer the question. And so it was really, really nice to be amongst such warm and engaging people.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
Great cast, great season,
Yeah,
great winners, great finale. Can't
I would
complain.
definitely do it again. I would love to host again. Slash, I'd also love to be interviewed. So season 9. Do you think there's going to be a season 9?
Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so. Does that mean you do think so?
Yeah, I think so. I think they'll try and get to like all stars for 10 maybe. Let's hope. Yeah.
So, Jericho, do you have any other questions, or Jonathan? Anybody else watching right now? Questions about the question and answer session that we were at, or this finale or the season? Anything else? Dun, 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 dun. Anything else that I want to say about the watch party? I think that we need to maybe make a venue or figure out a really good venue to show these things, because bars doesn't work. Not for a TV show. It might
Yeah,
work for a game, but not for a TV show.
I think it has to be an auditorium of some kind, like a small studio theater with seats, with like a big projector screen, loud sounds, but also you want to maybe you can go and hang out in the lounge area to socialize, drink, eat. That's the
I'm
tough
wondering
part,
if
right?
like I'm just thinking about at the rec room, they do have a big back room. I don't know how much it would cost to rent, so it could be expensive, but like it have a projector there, and then you still could go out and buy drinks, and there is a bar there and stuff like that, because I really think that it takes away from the experience of having a watch party when you can't really hear it. And even with us being there, there's a lot of people talking. I don't want to be shushing
No,
adults like that are out on a Tuesday night, like, to listen. But it would be nice to be in an area where it would be a little bit more conducive to people paying attention. So
sure.
we need to figure out some good venues for that. But even though, thank you, bottom line, for hosting. We much appreciated you allowing us to be in your space for this finale. Maybe we need to figure out how to make that place work better. Maybe there's like another back room that we didn't know of, and that we could have had like a projector or something.
Maybe.
Well, that is it. Since nobody has any other questions, Jojo, do you have anything, final thoughts, things to say?
Great season, great winners, great cast. Loved it. Very happy with season 8. It'll go down as one of my favorites, actually.
What?
Yeah,
Actually, the actual season or just the winners?
the season. I thought it was a great season.
Oh,
I did. I loved
I
it.
mean, I can stand the fact that the COVID part, so
Yeah.
like that really tainted the season for me. I love the winners. I love the last leg. I personally found that some of the challenges were just I enjoy it being taken away from Canada.
Yeah.
I think Canada is beautiful. I love showcasing the country that I live in. But one of the parts of the Amazing Race that I particularly enjoy is the unknown factor, is the never been there factor,
Mhm.
is the new customs and new languages and new cultures
The new
to be
challenges.
interacting with. And so I found personally for me this season lacked that like unfamiliarity. And so it was pleasant and enjoyable, but it didn't have that like frantic amazing raceness that I'm used to when it's taken on overseas. So I liked it, but it definitely I wouldn't say it would be one of my top seasons just because it doesn't have some of the elements that I appreciate in the Amazing Race.
Oh, I'm saying between seasons 1 and 8, it's near the top for me. Not for like the franchise. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Thanks for the clarification because I'm just like
No, between 1 and 8, I'm like, oh, it's close to the front for sure. Like maybe like top 2, top 3.
I can't
Season 4 was my favorite.
which one was season 4?
Season 4 was Steph and Kirsten season, Jillian and Emmett.
Mm.
Emmett, the bagels! One of my favorite reality television moments of all time. Incredible.
Oh, I know that bagel spot
The
too.
bagels! The bagels!
Well, thank you, Jojo, for stepping in here for Phil
Cheers.
and and stepping in for Phil and hosting with me, doing the question and answer on Tuesday past. If there's anybody that is listening that wants to leave a comment, let us know. What do we want to know? Let us know, where does this rank in your seasons of the Amazing Race Canada?
Yeah.
Did you really enjoy it? Did you love the fact that it was just in Canada? Did you miss the fact that it was going to other countries? Did COVID coming in, did it affect your appreciation of the race? Did you love the winners? Was there somebody else that you were rooting for? Give us all your thoughts and opinions, because if you do, it just so happens we might be able to do a little bit of a deep dive of the season with Craig and Catherine.
Oh,
Little
yeah.
Birdie told me that they might want to have a little chat. So, any questions that you might have for them about the race, about them, their experience, also maybe put that in the comments below. Please like this video. Can we get this video to 100 likes? 100's not that many. Please, please, please. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. We are building a community of people that watch Canadian reality TV. I know I'm being critical, but I watch a lot of reality TV and I want Canada to be up there as well. And so us watching it and reviewing it, and hopefully is going to help get more people to watch and review and participate in Canadian television so that we won't have so many advertisements supporting each show. So please support the channel, which is also supporting your favorite Canadian reality TV shows. Final thoughts, Jojo, before we say good afternoon or good evening? Good night?
Final thoughts. Bring on season 9.
Woo!
Woo!
Bye.
Bye.